I am bullish on the market. In today's video, I'm going to explain exactly what stocks I'm bullish on, my positions, what I think could end up happening with the market. I'm also going to give you guys good long and short opportunities as well. All right, so we had a good weekend, I'm assuming. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Market's about to start tomorrow. Let's kick it into gear, and let's really figure out which direction is going to happen in the market. All right, so let's get started. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. All right, so what we're going to do in today's video is I'm going to try to deduce where the best opportunities would be for a bear to take profit and for a bull to take profit. I'm going to try to explain that, okay? So that is going to give us a much better understanding of which direction the market can go, okay? So before I talk about anything else, this is a daily chart of Tesla, okay? Now, if you were a bear and you went short, if you ended up going short over here, or if you ended up going short on this large red candle, right? So in general, if you ended up going short in this range, where would be the opportunities to take profit on your short? Number one is you're going to want to look for a downward target for your short. Okay, so number one, you obviously have like the stop loss. You could have the stop loss above all-time highs, right? But the downward target is very, very important, because where a short will take profit on his shorts is where buying pressure is going to occur and where longs are going to start stepping in, okay? So Tesla, where is that level going to be? 360, 370. Great. What ended up happening? So general range, right? 360, 370. Right here, you could see like the highs over here. If you want to be, if you really want a downward target and you really think Tesla is going to drop, it's going to come back and retest this, the upper level of this bull flag. Great. Period of consolidation. You can see that 360, 370 range was holding, right? That's going to be your downward target. That's where essentially you would look for longs, right? Now, we didn't get down to 360, 370. We got down to 373. That's why I say this is a zone, okay? So what we saw on Tesla, if you ended up going short, say you ended up going short at 445. From 445, we're going to see how much of a percentage it dropped down to this candle here, all right? From 445, okay? 445. You're telling me this is a 14% gain. You're telling me you're holding on to Tesla puts. If you're holding on to Tesla shorts and the stock drops, even at the open, if you're going to sell it, the stock drops 13, 12%, even 12%. You're not going to take profit on 12%? If you didn't end up taking profit on 7, right? So, okay, psychologically, what's going on in these people's minds right now? If you were short, hey, we just finally broke support. This candle right here, right? Looking at this large red candle. Hey, oh my God, we just broke support. We just broke support, guys. There's more room to the downside. We just had a solid red close below a major level of support. That means there should be more room to the downside. Great. You were right. Now that room to the downside occurred, we gapped down and the stock is down more than 12% based off of 445. This is at the tail end of this range. If you ended up going short at 460, it's a different story. 445, you're up 12% on the shorts. You're going to take some profit. When that essentially occurred, right? Because I was not currently in the short, what you have to do is you have to look at where shorts are going to cover. Okay? That is essentially why we went long. We are currently holding 387.5 calls. Okay? So we got the 387.5 calls down at 386. Okay? And we got them around 17. They're currently around 28. So 1,700, they're currently around 2,800 each. I am bullish because I think Tesla has more room to go to the upside. This rip that we just had is not, in my opinion, where bulls are going to start taking profit. It's not where I'm taking profit. It's not where this momentum is leading towards, right? Personally, based off of the price action that we have at this 430, 435 level on Tesla, I still think Tesla has more room to go, okay? And now let's just look at it from a percentage gain perspective on the stock itself. Even if you were to go long at 388, whatever, right? It could be anything. 388, we could just do 390, okay? 391 if you're holding 390 as support, right? 391. Stock is up barely 5%. Stock is barely up 5%. Off of a big drop from the recent highs, Tesla's down 20%. It's down almost 23%, okay? 7% drop, 7% bounce from the bottoms is not enticing enough for bulls to want to take profit. I believe that there should be at least room to retest 420. Okay? That's another $10 move. We're still holding on. If Tesla goes up another 10, minimum another 10, in my opinion, the upward target is around the 430, 440 level. Great. In the short term, we're talking about short term. Okay? If it's going to bounce to the 430 level, right? There is at least a few more days of bullish pressure on Tesla. Tesla is one of the main current indicators of like this bounce and this strength, okay? Tesla is one reason. The other reason is Nvidia, okay? So let me show you guys Nvidia. Nvidia was another stock I was bullish on, and it was a big leader for the past few months. Nvidia's rise to the market just jumping up, right? Nvidia's rise to it causing the market to jump up and everything like that had a very big effect on the overall market. So let me explain why I was bullish on Nvidia. Number one, we have news next week for Nvidia, which is going to be very bullish for Nvidia and AMD. They're both going to be reporting. They're both going to be showcasing their new technology at in Las Vegas at the CES convention. So the CES convention is basically the largest, year's first and biggest tech show. AMD is going to be showing, and Nvidia is also going to be showing. So chip stocks are going to be more bullish. When chip stocks are more bullish, the overall market tends to be more bullish. It also doesn't. It's also a good sign that Tesla started to bounce, right? So that's another reason why. So let me show you guys on the chart exactly where we were bullish on Nvidia. So we ended up going long. So number one, okay, so Nvidia, I was not looking for shorts on Nvidia. On all these other large tech stocks, I have a bullish above and a bearish below level, if you guys saw. Nvidia, I was not even looking at a short, okay? I was looking for longs. And what do we see here on Nvidia? Levels of support being held. Levels of support being held. And this, you could even argue that this is an inverted head and shoulders. We held this level of support here, right? And not only were we creating a right shoulder, this is also a bull flag. A bull flag. We came back, retested this trend line here. We got into on Tesla on January 2nd. We got into 136 calls for 470. They're up. Sorry, they're up over 100%. 136 calls. Not only did that cause us to push up to the upper level of this bull flag, we got a gap upwards, and we completely led the market. Nvidia and Tesla both led the market. This is a reason why the overall market is green. Thankfully, we got into the highest, the fastest movers that were also the most bullish, right? That's the way to really look at things. When you're trying to catch bottoms, right? You don't necessarily, this is a bit off topic. When you're trying to catch bottoms, and you think, okay, the market should bounce here, right? Instead of going long something that is at a support and it's barely bouncing, you're like, oh, wow, okay, yeah. Oh, the rest of the market is skyrocketing. I mean, the rest of the market, it is skyrocketing. The rest of the market is up here, it's skyrocketing. There's a crappy stock that I'm looking at is over here. It has a much higher risk reward. If it starts to bounce from over here, that's going to be a way higher. If it was strong and it was actually something worth longing, right, it would have moved already. So instead of you waiting and putting all of your money into something with at a closer level of support, things of that nature, you might as well go long into the biggest moving stocks that are going to be bullish. Okay? So the reason why I'm also bullish on Nvidia for the next few days is because I wrote out this bullish above level, I believe, in the last week of December. So I believe I wrote I would become bullish on Nvidia sometime over here. Okay? This ended up going from 139 all the way to above this bullish above level within a day. We closed above it. So I would be a bit more concerned if we had closed below it. I would be like, okay, this is it's clearly holding us a level of resistance. We closed above that level. And we also tapped the 618% fib. What this is telling me is, yes, Tesla and Nvidia can both get some sort of a pullback, but as long as Nvidia is holding this upward trajectory above 143, above all of this ugly, just choppy price action, if it's holding above the 142, 143 level, we could get a pullback. Why not? But in my opinion, because of the strength that we're seeing, it is going to continue. Nvidia, in my opinion, is going to continue. Tesla is also going to continue, in my opinion. I'm not your financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. But our positions are currently up. Very healthy. These two stocks being bullish also allowed us to capture the long side on the S&P and the NASDAQ. We're also long on those. And so this is a daily chart of the S&P. We went long Nvidia on January 2nd. We went long on the S&P January 3rd. So I was looking towards which stocks would lead the S&P and the NASDAQ into a green move. What would be the leader? The leader was Nvidia, which is why we looked at a bullish setup on Nvidia, the bull flag, and it played out. So look, Nvidia was green. The market was red, right? Once Nvidia broke above 145, this is when the SPY ended up being green like this. So we were already positioned on Nvidia. We went long on the S&P below 588. So we are currently up on those as well. So we are swinging the S&P. We closed above the 38.2% fib. This is bullish in my opinion. This is all still bullish. On the S&P now, let's just zoom out. Regardless of what Nvidia and Tesla do, this is all bullish to me. When Nvidia and Tesla are showing this strength, it's tough to be bearish. And as long as, even if we come back and retest this entire zone, 584, 588, so in the short term, right, I think it can still rally up to at least 593, 595. Great, okay? I'm talking about like literally I'm talking about this week, hopefully, right? As long as this prior level of support, this 590 area, 588, 590 area can hold, hopefully overnight the futures end up being green as well. That'll just make things so much easier. But as long as this support holds, this can easily grind upwards to at least 594, 593-ish area. That would be a much better opportunity for people to take profits on longs. This would be a much better place for people for bulls to start taking some profit. Okay? And that is generally where bears would start to enter puts. Now, if the bears fail, then all of the shorts will act as fuel. And that fuel will cause another melt up. Will probably hit 600. So, in the immediate term for the S&P, it needs to hold this 588, 590 level. So far, just the fact that Nvidia was leading this market in this move, there's more room on Nvidia, there's more room on Tesla. The SPY closed above the 38.2. That's 3 reasons right there. But we could also look at the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ also had a very green day. Obviously, great. It was red the day before, while Nvidia had its green day. Cool. The NASDAQ just closed above a major trend line. Okay, so this trend line, we've been monitoring it for months, and it's been acting as either a level of resistance, tapping at resistance, or it started acting as a level of support when you're trading above it. Okay, we just got a close above on the NASDAQ. That is very bullish. And if the NASDAQ can hold above 517, 516 area, we already can clearly see there's buyers above these levels of resistance that are willing to, put their money and start going long into strength here. This can easily rise to 520, 522. It can easily rise to 525. Especially if the other tech stocks start to rally. This can start to really, really rally, honestly, because the NASDAQ was also the biggest winner. It outperformed the S&P and the Russell. The NASDAQ has some room. We're positioned pretty well in the overall market. We're up on all of our positions, and we took minor profit. Obviously, you have to take minor profit, but this is you let your runners ride, and this is one of these stocks where, once again, the market is going to have to make a decision somewhere between the 522, 525 area. But if the puts start to fail, we can melt up to 527, 530 area. And that is very bullish, obviously, for equities. Another bullish thing is the VIX. So the VIX obviously had a very bearish day. Okay? The VIX is very important. Guys, look. The VIX is very important to monitor because it has an inverse relationship to the market. Okay? And this is one of the cleanest things you can look at. If the VIX is green, if the VIX is up, the market should be falling. The VIX is red. So if the VIX is red, the market should be rising. That's exactly what's going on. And this is a pretty bearish sort of setup. The VIX has a bit more room to go. Before it touches major support at around the 1550 area. So if the VIX has a little bit more room to go on this bearish momentum, on this bear flag break that just occurred, if it has a bit more room to go, if the SPY has a bit more room to go, the NASDAQ closed above the trend line, a bit more room to go, right? Nvidia, bit more room to go, a bit more room to go. Tesla, 430, bit more room to go. If all of these stocks have a bit more room to go, if buyers just stepped in, this is the second day of this bounce, it's tough to just start shorting, right? Like, would it make sense to just start shorting? Would it make sense to, for example, Apple, right? Would it make sense to go short on Apple when Apple is trying its darndest? Small, cute little candle here. A little adorable candle trying to hold support. When something is trying to hold support like this, don't you think that a retest of the 23.6% fib is on the table? We didn't even break half of the 20. We didn't even break above 10. But there's still more room to go. We're at 243. A bit more room to go on Apple. 245, 246. It's tough, in my opinion, to just randomly remain aggressively short. And this is on the next few days, okay? I'm not talking about overall. I'm not looking at a 6-month horizon. We're not going to be here talking for 6 months about why I think the market is going to pull back. Overall, definitely in the next, couple of months, Q1, Q2, the market is going to correct. Great. That's not what we're talking about. We're trying to make money. The market is going to drop. Great. But what the hell happens all throughout here? Are we just going to keep just talking about being short? No. There's obviously opportunities to go long and short every single day. So that is what we are currently doing. And in the immediate term, these stocks have a little bit more room to go. So we could take a look at the rest of these tech stocks, and we could see the strength in the rest of these tech stocks as well. So, for example, Google, it didn't quite close above the level that I was originally bearish below? It kind of did, but it's clearly showing strength, right? It didn't close below it, right? It closed somewhere a little above it. So that's a good sign, right? Google still has more room to go to at least 195. Same concept as Apple. Meta gapped up. Not the best looking candle, but we held this level of support. It rallied up and it closed at the highs here from yesterday. Meta doesn't look that great. Microsoft is another interesting one. Microsoft held the very overextended level that it was on the Bollinger Band, right? So Bollinger Bands are important because they show the overextension of, basically, if something is overextended to the downside, it should bounce. So Microsoft was overextended to the downside. We got to bounce. This is not a good time to start shorting. This is like a very aggressive, this is an aggressive time to go short. And it could work. It could work. On all of these stocks, it could work. But this would be a very aggressive time to go short. And the market could just if it fails over here and we start to fail below major levels of support off of a setup like this and it fails, that is scary bearish. That is scary bearish. We might end up seeing 405. Okay? And the odds of that happening, not that high. Okay? But if it does, that's what's going to end up happening. But the odds are in the favor of bulls. Okay? So just let things play out the way that they want to play out in the next few days. Okay? But yeah, Microsoft looks really ugly, to be honest. Microsoft does not look good. But this is gapped up, painted a green candle. It has more room to go. Another $3-4. Okay. Netflix doesn't look that great, but Netflix is not going to pull the market down like this. We still held the level of support. Amazon, last but not least, Amazon closed above the bearish level. So we're seeing all of these stocks either close right above, so some sort of strength, show some sort of strength above major levels of support, breaking above levels of resistance, holding support. The VIX is showing weakness. There's too many reasons. There's too many reasons to lean bullish, at least for the next few days. The news for AMD and Nvidia, the fact that we're already up, we got in at a very, very a great opportunity. We are up. Not only did we get very, very comfortably in the SPY and QQQ, we got in beautifully. 136 calls. So we were below 136 when we got into Nvidia. And we also got into Tesla. 386-ish area. So yeah, I can't see why it would really make sense to start leaning short unless the market just fails this bullish, unless the bullish setup fails. Unless the bullish setup starts to fail and we don't get the follow through, that is when you would start leaning bearish. And that would essentially just have to occur, as a break of support. Again, I would be shocked, but because even then, right? Even then, if we end up retesting this 340, 350 area, is this now the time to be short? No. This is still a good opportunity to dip buy because we're at a level of support. Because if here wasn't a good time to short, and here is when bears would start taking profit, or are bears not going to start taking profit down freaking 25% on the stock? No, they're going to definitely take profit. So if this setup does not, that's why I'm so bullish. I'm bullish even on the dips. I'm bullish just on the overall market because it's tough because you have to put yourself in the shoes of shorts, right? If you're a brand new short and if you're a bank or a hedge fund or something like that and you're going short, what are you you're going to go to your freaking you're going to go to your desk manager and be like, "Hey, I think it's time to go short on Tesla." I would be surprised if they even let you go short at this at the gap. I mean, probably trade is a trade. It is what it is, but it just doesn't make sense. So even trying to go short here, first of all, longs would not be taking profit over here. Longs would want another push up. Shorts, the people that did go short over here are getting squeezed. And then especially even if we did get a fail and a red close below, this is a major, major bear trap. Because if you're not smart enough to go short over here, if they paint a very bearish picture and start getting retail to short on a break of support, retail is basically going to be retail is going to end up becoming basically orders that are going to be paying out these shorts. They're going to be trying to go short as well, right? So while these people that shorted are trying to go long, retail is going to be like, oh, wow, great opportunity to short. But no, it's not, because you're at a level of major, major support now. So that's the thing. All of this is still pretty, it's tough. It's tough. This is just a tough little situation. We're up almost 100% on the contracts. We're trying to squeeze in another few points to the upside. That's basically what it is. I'm bullish for a few more points to the upside. Let people be bearish up here after we've taken some profit. We're up like almost 100% on everything, over 100% on everything. So it is what it is. Like, whatever. That's my opinion. That's my opinion on everything. I shared what I think is going to end up happening in the next few days. This does not mean that I think the market is going to be bullish for the next 6 months. We're going to take it 1 week at a time. Take it 1 day at a time, one step at a time. We're going to keep talking about the levels, because trading is trading. It is what it is. I have a bias. You make money in the direction. The direction can change. And it's our job to continue to be, to continue to adapt. All right. So that's essentially what it is. I hope I made a lot of sense with the situation of when, just everything. I hope it made sense in this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So if you did enjoy it, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning in the Discord. Love you. Have a good one.